Okay guys, what I'm looking to do here, I'm looking to change the axle mounted servo to a chassis mounted servo. So I'm thinking of using maybe a little bit of sort of something like this, a little bit of aluminium on the sides, come up over, same as this, so I can mount the servo across the top. I've got a bunch of links and bits and pieces, links and link ends, which I think will probably make the right length to do a panard. And I've got another short one here with lots of different ends, which I've just sort of picked up recently, to do also a, well, actually I just need a panard because I think the arm that's there will do the job for the steering. So yeah, I'll just keep the video going as I sort of get things going. But the chassis has holes drilled in it already through here, which I might be able to use, as you can see there. So I'm hoping I can maybe use those to fix my little aluminium angle on here, because you don't have a lot to work with. You just got to fix these fixings here onto some angles, so it's going to sit up like that. I don't have any bracket, like I know you can buy brackets for them, but I'm going to try and just make one. I don't know whether it matters that it's going to be, because the frame, the chassis rails are on a little bit of an angle there, so this is going to sit on a bit of an angle. I also need to make sure I've got clearance from the body, as you may know. That's the body there, so I need to make sure I've got clearance up under there. That might be a bit of an issue, so I might have to mount it a little bit. Whoop, click, click, click. Might have to mount it more sort of up here than sort of down the front. The higher up near the shock mounts, the better maybe. Anyway, I'll work through that issue and fill you in on how it's going to work. Okay, so I've removed all the bits and pieces that hold the chassis, that hold the servo onto the axle. So that little bracket there that holds it on the top of the axle, these brackets that go on top of the diff center, and then I've wasn't real keen on these. These came with the RZ XYL Amazon axles, and these don't have much of an angle on them. This is the steering arm that joins onto the servo. Didn't like this one doesn't have a lot of angle on it, but I'll leave that one on there for now. But I've put another one on the end of this one, which is these are the RC four-wheel drive ones that I got from 110 Crawlers over in Perth. Got a whole box of them there. So I've got a variety. I've got these offset ones, which I thought might come in handy for getting a bit more clearance on my links. Then I've got the angled ones, like so. They're good for good for links as well. And then I just got I've got the shorty ones as well, but I think I've actually used them. Oh no, here's one. So just the little short ones as well, which I wanted to shorten up some of my links a little bit. On this thing, I did use them on the back links just to try and, I wanted to run a shorter wheelbase, just to experiment with that. But yeah, I've put one on the end of this. So that's my new steering link. I might end up swapping this end as well, not sure yet, I'll just see how it works. So my next job is basically being able to mount that in there somewhere. Got to figure that out. I might put the panard on next. I do have a shock mount that comes with a panhard attachment on the bottom, so that will be going across. I need to work out the rough length of that's going to be going across in there from that fitting there to an arm that comes down off the shock mount. Yeah, so that's what I've got to do next. I'll get this on. That looks pretty strong, so hopefully, I'm pretty sure this works with these mounts, with these shock mounts. This just came as an extra thing. So here it is there. Doesn't focus real good, does it? Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Well, here's a shock mount here. This is the same. So that just basically goes there like so. If you can see that. Comes with that. That fits in there beautifully. And your panhard connects onto that, and then down onto the axle. What I found, I bought some screw, these, you know, these ones. I bought these from, who was it? Hobby King. I think I bought them from Hobby King. And they don't fit your Turnigy tools properly. They're crap. So that's made life really hard, because some of them turn in the head, and you can't actually get any good purchase on them. They just turn. So let's see how this one goes. Hopefully everything lines up. Yep, beautiful. Oh, that's perfect. Got just the right length in the back, which is what I want. I don't want stuff sort of in the way, sticking out too much. So let's tighten that up. And just another tip, if you find your hex tools, are wearing at the ends, like they're starting to round off, I just grind it. I just put a grinder on the end of that, took a couple of mil off it, and yeah, good as gold. I'll just tighten this other one up. So, to fix the servo, there's very little room around here before it's actually hitting the body of the servo, and it needs to be pretty strong because this takes a fair bit of force. So yeah, that'll be my next. I might work on the panhard bar, see if I've got something for it, because I can see now the distance that I've got. I'll just move the camera. Alright folks, here we are. So where I'm going from is there to there. So I need a bar that's going to reach across, and that should do by the time I get link ends on and so on. I've got a variety of link ends, so hopefully yeah, this bar will be long enough. I think it will. It's hard to actually get in there, but let's try something else. Okay, so I've got a pair of pliers here holding the link arm, so that's going to go in there between there and there. So I think we're pretty sweet. Just got to, yeah, it's going to be close. I might need a couple of shorties, or I might be able to cut this down a little bit. So that's the next challenge. Okay, I don't know if anyone owns these things. I'm not even sure what they call them, but this is what I'm using to get a measurement for my panhard from there to there. So what I found was the one that I was going to use, which is this one, is just going to be too long. That was one that I had left over. It's just going to be too long, so I've taken the old, this is the old steering link. I'm going to make this the panhard. So I've measured it from basically centre to centre. How did I do that? Must have went in there. Anyway, from centre to centre, or from outside of it to outside, across, whoops, sorry, across there. So from hold to hold, it's well, it's that long. It's 94 mil. So somehow I've got to make a link 94 mil. So I've got these long ones. So if I line that up with that centre and that, got a little spacer on there, and then another little spacer on this one. I'll move that up. I'm looking to gain, yeah, so that might get me there. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. I'll put it all together. I've actually got to drill the ends of these out because they're not wide enough. This link's got thicker threading on it compared to this stuff that was in the other links that I had. So yeah, these are just cheapos, so they've got a bigger thread. So that's what I'm trying to do, make a panel bar out of this one. So again, a little bit of masking tape, not much. Sort of acts as a bit of a stopper. I want to sort of stop it about there. Stick that on there and then just check it. Probably up a little bit further. So just clamp it in there. Just easy goes. Speed is good. Yeah, I'd use plenty of speed. It's much better to control. It's a pretty tight fit, this, so not ideal. But, can be hard to get it straight too. Centre to centre. It's actually a little bit short. No, it's not bad. I think we'll get away with that. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's actually maybe a mil too long. Maybe I can take one packer out. Righto. This looks pretty good. I'm going to run it like that. So hold a hole. It's about there. So I'm happy with that. The length's about spot on. So hopefully it's going to work all right. So now it's just a matter of making the brackets for the chassis mounted servo. Okay, so she's fitted on. I've had to put a little spacer just in there, centre of screen. Just so that doesn't cramp up, so it will squeeze up. So I've put a little spacer in there because it's threaded at the back, and not at the front. So I'll just have to put a bit of Loctite on there, but that's basically it. I swapped that around because on full flex, because it's sort of offset, it was rubbing the top of the axle there. So I've turned it the other way, so it's a bit higher. The other end's already up anyway. So at the moment we have full flex. That it will eventually hit the chassis rail, but that's at full flex, as you can see with the shock. And then on this side, it doesn't touch full flex. It actually touches the top of the axle, but that's fine. Shock is fully compressed, so that's its limit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Got a little bit of a gap there. That's no good. I don't like that. I like everything to be tight, but can't have everything. I had to do that just to get the right length anyway, so because getting the length is crucial. Yeah, there's no play sideways whatsoever. So yeah, so we've got that sorted. Righto, next stage is these two. Just got to make these fit over here, and then have to cut them to size, of course, and everything. And then this is going to sit on them up there. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. As you can see, it's bolted down pretty good. So hopefully it's going to fit over here without too many issues. It's a bit tight. Oh, beautiful, look at that. Alright, so that's how it's going to go. Okay, so I couldn't make up a steering link, so I actually had this one off my WPL little Hilux. Just happens to be pretty much the right length. I had no threaded rod or anything, so this is what I've come up with. Does the job for now. Okay, so we've drilled a hole right there. There we go, to fix the servo down. You can see there. So everything else is about right. Well, I'm just going to rivet that in. Where's my link? There's my link. And then it's just a matter of sorting the steering up and getting it all nice and straight. And we'll give it a run today, hopefully. Okay, there you have it, folks. The little sucker's riveted in. Tuck that up under there. That's my front suspension setup. Don't know why it won't focus, but hopefully it's all going to roll pretty good. Seems to travel nicely there. Feels pretty nice. My issue was the connection to the servo horn actually hitting the front link here, but because this rolls up and down a bit, I think it's going to be alright, because when I did test it, it hit it on going all the way up. Like if I push up via that bar, you can see it knocks on it, and then I'm thinking, okay, when it steers to like this side, it's going to push on it, but that bar's got some play in it, and I could change the link ends and actually have it slightly lower, but I want that good approach angle so it's not rubbing on too much stuff. So yeah, as you can see, there's the rivets. I've just got a rivet on each side, and it's not the greatest fixing, but it's homemade, and it doesn't cost me, you know, an extra $50 to get the proper mounts made and all that. Whether this little guy holds up under the pressure or not, I don't really know. But I didn't have any threaded rod to make a link up. I had nothing the right size. Don't have a tap and die set, so that's just off the WPL Hilux. It's pretty light gauge, but I'll see how it handles it anyway. I'll get this thing rolling. Yeah. Don't know how it'll go rock crawling, but yeah, we'll see how strong it is. You be right? Go for it.
Yeah, I just needed to reverse up in my throttle.